G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in at the northeast of the map, it is Iagas and his opponent, who spawns in on the opposite side of the map, down towards the south. It is Give You Anxiety. Give You Anxiety, going to be playing the French for us today. Don't roll your eyes too fast, and his opponent playing the Chinese. So we'll talk a little bit about these players, about who they are, where they're from, what they're up to. Iagas is an Australian StarCraft 2, ex-StarCraft 2 player. He's going to be playing the Chinese today. Already we can see his build order opening up with 6 villages straight onto the mill. Mill is out on the berries, so you've seen some players that have put their mill on their wood lines just to keep it a bit closer to the town center, but straight away going to be opening up with that Imperial Official and begin moving out around the map with his Scout. Now, the map that we are playing on today is Highview. It is known for its plethora of stealth forests, so you really want to make sure that you can build a lot of outposts on this map. Second villager now coming out of the town center, going to be dropping down that lumber camp. And for Give You Anxiety, we'll take a look at what he is up to. So already 2 villagers out on gold at the moment. So looking for that early age up. I'm going to be moving his scouts out and around. So I'm curious to know exactly what we're going to be spotting out from these players. Now, for French, I'm sure you guys can expect it's probably going to be some sort of knight, fast castle, that sort of thing. You know, it's quite typical. But when it comes to the Chinese, that's where my eyes are going to be. That's where the prize is going to be, because the Chinese is really coming into its own. I've talked a little bit about this, and I'm probably going to make a video about it, just explaining the way that the meta has worked and has sort of evolved, and really just breaking down sort of a little bit of a history of patch 1.0. Because we are due for a big patch that is due to drop. They've advised us that it's going to be in summer, or rather winter, 2021, which only leaves about 1 month to go. So then they did also mention that it could be sooner rather than later. So who knows what we get. We see right there Iagas making a decision to pick up his tax and then deliver it despite his villagers dropping off during that time. So one of the things I like to do is make sure that I force drop off my villagers off at the mill, and then I pick up my tax. It makes it a little bit easier. He's going to be sending a couple of villagers out onto the gold mine as well. So looking for a nice bit of an early age up here for him. We'll have to see exactly what he's up to. Going to be able to pick up 7 sheep, so doing a pretty decent job. If you can get 7 sheep on your first run through, which is obviously what he's doing, he's down onto his final sheep at the moment. But by the time he gets back, that's an 8th sheep that he's picked up. That's a pretty decent amount. That's a triple-double that he's spotted, so probably 3 up here, maybe 3 over this way. And then he's picked up a couple that have been around his base, so might even pick up another one around the back here. We'll have to take a look and see. Doesn't look like there's any out here, but his villagers are going to be very happy with that. GUA now going to be going up with the School of Cavalry. So for anybody unfamiliar with Give You Anxiety, I'll leave a link in the description over to his Twitch page. He is a big streamer on Twitch. Averaging about 600 viewers every stream, or at least that's where I see him at, so he's a very good player. You can see in the top right hand corner of your screen as well the ranks for these players. So Give You Anxiety at the moment sitting at rank 41 on the ladder, so he's dropped down quite a bit. He used to be top 10 yesterday, so maybe a few losses today. Who knows, maybe that's actually indicative of the result today. We'll have to wait, we'll have to see. But Iagas having a rank of 12, so hopefully this is going to be a pretty close game with 2 players that are very evenly matched. Mill going to be going up now for Give You Anxiety as well. So do we expect to see some of these upgrades coming through? Wheelbarrow is a cheaper upgrade, obviously, for the French. They do have their bonus of a much cheaper economic upgrades. I think it works out to be 30%. But let me do the math here quickly. Carry the one. Yes, it's 30%. All right, we've got the School of Cavalry going to be opening up now. No units coming out of it just yet, despite there being 4 villagers on the School of Cavalry, which is quite interesting, because 4 villagers to me indicates that you want to get that School of Cavalry out ASAP. But he's actually going for scouts. Is he going for professional scouts? What's he doing right here? He is. He's going for professional. That is very, very cheeky. I don't think I've seen this before from GUA, or from anyone rather. That's really cheeky. Normally what you see is at the very least 1 Royal Knight coming out just for a bit of early aggression. Give You Anxiety's just going to be using his School of Cavalry to make scouts instead of his town center. That's quite smart, actually. I do like that play from him. Going to be heading up towards the north, obviously, has spotted this one out. Doesn't want to tip off his enemy, so hasn't actually killed any of these deer yet. So really, really nice moves by him. So he's going to just keep making scouts here. I do like this play. This is very, very cheeky. Aiger's now on the other side of the map, so he's actually dropped down a preemptive wall. He said, you know what, I'm kind of scared of getting attacked on this front, so I'm going to just drop a wall down. It's all the way to the town center, so you're not going to be able to try and sneak anything through. If you want to sneak through here, go for it, but you're going to get absolutely shot to shit, so be careful. But he spots out multiple scouts now, and he does see that the deer was killed, so he also did see a deer up here towards the north, so I'm suspecting that he knows what might be up. Also got the Barbican on the back line as well, so we normally don't see this a lot. Normally we do see a bit more towards the front, so I'm a little bit surprised that we didn't actually see, you know, a Barbican placed maybe right here, and then a wall coming across the back instead. Obviously that's a little bit more expensive to do, but at the same time it sort of keeps your backside a bit safer, doesn't it? I guess if you're wanting to expand down this way towards the berries, it does make sense though. And we actually spot Aigers is going to be going up. It looks like he's thinking about hitting the third age here, so not looking to get a dynasty, not looking to get a second town center here. A very nice outpost on the gold mine as well. One of the things that you will see players do, and we do spot now that the professional scouts has come in, and Aigers is going to be spotting that out. So knowing that his enemy probably going to be doing a fast castle himself here. Normally, if they're going professional scouts, you can expect them to fast castle, but at the same time, you got to be a bit careful. They can take you off guard, and you can see that there are two stables here, and one of them definitely is training units. We can see that right now. Now towards the base of Aigers, he continues to gather up this gold. Still looking pretty good. So one of the things to note about, you know, why China's had this big, I wouldn't say a resurgence, because they never really were strong to begin with, but it all comes down to the Springald meta, and Chinese Springalds having that extra 50% HP. So it makes them a lot more attractive, because you're essentially getting an extra 50% of a unit. Obviously, you don't get an extra 50% attack, but you still get that extra HP, and that HP could be all the difference between your Springald getting out alive and dying, and then because it gets out alive, you can then run it back to your base, heal it up with one villager, and then you've got another full HP Springald that's back, and it's at 300 HP as well, so do keep that in mind. Now I've got a blacksmith going down. This is very curious, an early blacksmith like this. I wonder what this is all about. Could he be potentially going knights here? Is that the play? I'm thinking, obviously he's thinking about fast castle. Now, the reason why against the French, you probably don't want to be, and we've got horsemen now coming out from Give You Anxiety. So we don't actually have knights coming out here. We've got horsemen coming out. This is quite curious. 3 horsemen going to be applying pressure towards the front of Aigers' base and looking to sort of poke around. They have spotted out that wall there. You do see the line of sight on it. But now they're just sort of hovering around down towards the south. He doesn't actually know where that Barbican is, so he'll have to keep an eye out. But going to be dropping the blacksmith himself. Already has that +1, which comes in mandatory for the French. They don't even have the option to research it. It just immediately gets researched. And now going to be moving around towards the back of the base. Does Aigers spot that? Not yet. Doesn't have line of sight on that, but keep in mind he can see this through the stealth forest over this way. Now going to be moving out a scout himself. Has clicked through on that age up. Going to be going up with the astronomical clock tower as we expected. And the question is, what does he look to go now? Because he's actually getting +1 iron undermesh. And as far as I'm aware, this doesn't actually affect your artillery or your siege. So he could be looking, he's got a stable out. Okay, he is going to be going, so fast castle into stable, and just quick knights it seems. So I do like this play from him. He's playing very safe, very defensive at the moment. I think this is a really smart move, and I love the style that he's got going here. Now we've got that Lancer going to be coming out as well towards the front, and he's very happy to pick these fights. Keep in mind, this Lancer, it is an age 3 Lancer, so it's not an early knight like the French get. It's a fully veteran, fully fledged, fully trained from the College of Lancers. It has got all of its upgrades, all of its shenanigans, all the bells and whistles you would expect from a castle age unit. Now the second one comes out, and these Lancers are actually going to be very happy to take these fights. You see it almost 3-shotting right now, and going to be trying to poke this down, but obviously he's going to be able to pull this one back before it dies, and he's going to be very easily able to pick out these horsemen. So one of the things that I do state is that typically, you do want to be the horseman player in the early game, but once your enemy sort of gets up to around 7 or 8 lancers, you really don't want to be the horseman player because you just get so easily outnumbered. Sorry, I shouldn't say outnumbered, but outplayed is what happens because of the higher HP and the higher armor that's on these bad boys. It just makes them so much harder to deal with for the horseman. Now the horseman's going to be coming in, probably actually going to be able to pick this one off if he's not careful. Iago's doing a best, or Iago's rather, doing his best to try and get out of there alive. He does have that scout in there as well, going to give him that line of sight. So scout and 4 lancers, and really doing his best. A single archer now going to be coming up towards the north as well. We'll have to keep an eye out on that. There's a single lancer in here with quite a low HP. I'm assuming GUA is going to pick that one off, as it does go down to an early knight, a royal knight rather. And that archer's still yet to do any real damage, but actually doing a pretty decent job here in dealing with the Lancers. It was almost like he didn't have a decent enough of a mass yet, so he probably needs to continue having this these Lancers go. Villagers idle on the back line, but he'll be okay with that for now as he moves on to berries. So one of the things to note is that even though there's only one stable, he is actually able to produce these units at 3 times the speed. So a knight would normally be taking 33 seconds, I think it is. Let's have a look at the early knights. 29 seconds for the Royal Knights, but for the Lancer, it takes 30 seconds, so you can see right there, it is a... Oh, no, that's an upgrade. I apologize. So I don't think there's actually any way for us... You know what? We can probably check through here. 20 seconds down to 6 seconds. So if that is 11 seconds, then it's probably 33 seconds. So I'm not sure what the difference is there. Maybe it takes a little bit longer to train the castle age knights than it does to train the age 2. But now horsemen going to be moving in, looking to siege up that tower. Not going to have any luck as the Lancers do their best to sort of push those horsemen away. And horsemen having a great time here. Now, do we have an age up yet in queue from Give You Anxiety? We'll have to check from his perspective because he is playing a very heavy age 2. He's actually not aging up and dropping down double stable here. So quite a curious decision from him. I always felt like I was at a disadvantage, a significant disadvantage, when I was playing as the Horseman player up against the Knights. But GUA is actually doing pretty decently at the moment. We can see scores actually pulling ahead. And now it looks like Iagas is going to be moving out across the map and looking to put on a little bit of hurt towards GUA. And going to be crossing the map in towards his base. There are a couple units out here. No spears out just yet to try and deal with this. He's got to be careful not to lose this Lancer out here by itself as they begin charging in from the fog of war. Unable to be spotted out by his opponent, and Give You Anxiety now having to retreat on this front. At the same time, we've got horsemen, we've got archers, we've got all of these units across the map, and GUA is now under a bit of trouble as the majority of these units are going to be getting attacked down by the Lancers, and Lancers having a field day out here as archers are just falling down. GUA having a tough time, but now on the back line, it looks like more horsemen are coming in. A bit of a surround might be coming in here for GUA. How is he actually going to do in the Horseman versus Lancer battle? I would suspect that the Lancers would overwhelmingly win this fight, but GUA does have the +1 upgrades. It's important to remember that. Compare that to the upgrades of his opponent, and we can see that he's only got that +1 ranged attack. Or +1 ranged defense, so doesn't actually have the +1 melee defense, which is very important, considering that the French have actually upgraded all of their stuff by default. So let's take a look at the blacksmith, and you can see he's got all of the relevant upgrades here. No steeled arrow just yet. He's only making a handful of archers, and to be honest, he probably doesn't even need any archers. He hasn't spotted out any spears of his opponent just yet. And now we've got the mass migration coming in from Iagas. He is going to be looking to drop down an outpost as well as a mill here to defend this hunt and to at least provide a little bit of line of sight. But this single archer just continues to stand idly by. I like this from GUA. He's just keeping an eye on the gold vein. Like, if there's any villagers, if you put more than 17 villagers on this gold mine, I will know. At least that's what he's telling him. And now we've got a boar being walled in. Is this next level strats or what? That is very, very smart. A walled in boar. I love that a lot. That is really, really nice. And now finally that archer is going to go down. And speaking of going down, GUA now moving into secure a little bit more attention over on that gold mine, as the knights look to get connections here with the villagers, while the spearmen, or rather the horsemen, begin to siege down that tower. There are 5 villagers inside that tower. They're going to have to get out. They do manage to heal that one up. And there are plenty of lancers in the base for Iagas. He's going to be able to defend this and hold this, but now he's got knights to deal with as well. These knights are going to be able to clear out this Imperial official. It's an expensive and costly trade. And now these villagers once again diving inside the outpost. GUA doing a great job of multitasking his opponent. Now these villagers moving towards that outpost, but it's not going to be enough. You need to have more outposts here. GUA chasing away those lancers, but not having enough here to defend on the south side as those villagers go down, and it looks like he just taps out. Give You Anxiety just gets the victory straight away. Match complete, ladies and gentlemen. If you've enjoyed this game, I encourage you, go check out GUA. I'll leave a link in the description as well as in the pinned comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.